Welcome back to Crime is the New Black Entitlement. We have a quintessential Colin Flaherty story today. Headline from Say Cheese: Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, brought down crime 33%. Baltimore mayor, Brandon Scott, first half of 2025, fewest homicides ever recorded. Birmingham mayor Woodfin, homicide rate fell 52%. Jackson, Mississippi, crime down 40% under Mayor Drake. Now, as a student of Colin Flaherty, I know that this headline is one that comes out, every 2 years, every 3 years. And more importantly, the headline is designed to deceive, or shall I say, it doesn't reflect the reality. There are many factors in crime. The most important factor in crime statistics, however, is reporting the crime. So if somebody comes to your house, breaks in, God forbid, the normal thing to do is to call the police. So when you call the police, it's a 911 call, some other way of contacting the police. Generally, the police come to the house, conduct their investigation, you fill out a report, you follow up on the report, they catch the bad guys, they send the bad guys to jail. The bad guy doesn't do it again, at least for a few years. And your city, your town, your home is safe, right? And the ideal thing is that the punishment for the crime deters other criminals from committing crime. However, in that scenario, imagine the first time a family moves into Chicago, there's a break in, a home invasion, they steal some stuff, you call the police don't show up. You call the police again, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, they show up, and they're like, yeah, we can't catch the guys, we're not really sure what's happening, there's a lot of crime, you have to lock your windows, you have to close your doors, you leave your doors open at night. They may not even take a report. The third time, they don't even come at all. You don't even get a 911 response. The fourth time it happens, you either start saving money to leave or you don't call the police. Now, at that stage of not calling the police, crime goes down. Why? Because what people call crime is simply crime reports. For there to be a crime, according to these statistics, you have to pick up the phone and call the police. Many cities where crime is the new black entitlement, we've covered what that means. Many cities where crime is new black entitlement, people are so discouraged because they know they won't get justice. People are so fatigued, pardon the use of the word, that they don't even bother calling the police because A, they're not even going to catch the bad guys, and B, even if they do catch the bad guys, you have criminal justice reform, you have prison abolition, you have self-recognizance, you have no bail, zero bail, and things like this. That catches criminals, if they do catch them, and releases them the following day, the following week, without a conviction. Even if they do get convicted, a lot of times it's non-custodial sentencing. I'll give you just a perfect example. If, God forbid, your family member, someone's family member, your neighbor, whom you don't really know very well, is walking down the streets of Baltimore, and two boys come punch him in the head, and the person falls down and dies. Is that a homicide? Yes, kind of assault homicide. The punch led to the fall led to the death. So the chain of causation hasn't been broken. So you can call it a homicide. Let's call it a second-degree manslaughter, because all you did was punch the guy, and then he fell over. So let's call it second degree. Now, second-degree manslaughter, whatever the case may be, some kind of homicide. What should a person like that face in prison? What should he get? He's been found, he's been convicted, there are witnesses, people testified, autopsy report, everything, you convict such a person. What do you sentence him to? A man has lost his life, he leaves behind a family. What is the appropriate recompense for someone who has taken the life of another man? In public, in cold blood, directly. What is it? Okay, there's a case called, let's see. Okay, so this is an old case, but listen to this. Teen accused of killing Maryland man over $1 at the Great Frederick Fair sentenced on Friday. A teen accused of punching a man so hard. Teen means black person. You can see the man is white. When someone says teen and the victim is white or whatever the case may be, teen means the person is black. Anyway, a teen accused of punching a man so hard last year at Great Frederick Fair that the man later died from his injuries has been sentenced to a long-term behavioral modification program. Let's see what long-term means. The 15-year-old juvenile pled guilty to manslaughter in April. State prosecutors wanted the youth to be tried as an adult, but after a lengthy hearing process, the court determined it would be best to keep the teen in the juvenile system. In the juvenile system, this is the best we can do for the family. Which family? Which family? I want you to see how crime is looked at. That's the purpose of this channel. That's the purpose of the work that Colin Flighty did all those years before he left us with the blueprint. This is the state attorney who is talking here. And he says, this is the best we can do for the family. He's acting on behalf of the criminal. Oh, we can help the family. This guy killed somebody. Your job is to prosecute him and make sure that dangerous people like him don't go back out onto the streets. And he said, no, let me help him and the family. It's also right. It's also what is right at this time for the offender, given his status as a juvenile. A man, a 14-year-old man knows what he's doing, and he goes and punches somebody in the head, and the person dies. He's able, a 14-year-old man is able to punch somebody so hard the person dies, and you're saying, oh, this is a juvenile. He's a baby. Nothing will bring back their loved one, but I hope they can begin to heal a little now that this part is behind them. The man was 59 years old, a 14-year-old boy, man, punched a 59-year-old man, and the man dies. And you're saying, oh, he's just a juvenile. It's not a music video. Okay. So, he's from an area. Two teen boys came asking for money. He said no, and then he walked away. One of the teens hit him twice. So it wasn't just an accidental discharge. There was malice aforethought. If you hit somebody once and the person falls and dies, you can dispel the the intent behind it. But then if you hit him the second time, right, he never regained consciousness and succumbed to his injuries. They didn't give a timeline. We have to find it. It's not long term. It's a specific behavior modification. Is not prison. So they're not even telling us these boys have murdered somebody. They've murdered somebody, and they can't even tell us, okay, yeah, this is how long he's going to be locked up for. And that's kind of the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that the gap between reporting a crime and conviction for a crime is very wide. But the gap between the incident of a crime and reporting the crime is a very long one. It's a gap that is continuing to extend. So the fact that crime reports do not factor in the incident of the crime. They only factor in the criminal complaint. It's only when you pick up the phone and call the police. My car has been broken into. I never called the police. I never filed a report. As far as Chicago is concerned, and everywhere in the world, that crime never happened. A lot of people just leave it for God, and I'll just make more money and leave, get away from the black people, so that the likelihood of my criminal incident is going to reduce. But that's the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you that the gap between somebody breaking into your house and you calling the police is wide, and it's becoming wider. Somebody snatches your purse, or somebody lifts your phone from a stall. In fact, even when you call the police, do they take your report? Let's see if we can find a story like that, just to illustrate what I'm saying. Okay. It became such an issue where Chicago cops were not taking your report, that people had to actually write a story and say, can't get Chicago cops to take your police report on the phone. You're not alone. Just ask Amador. I don't know who that is. Watch this. She tried repeatedly to report her SUV was stolen. 4 hours. repeatedly being hung up on. An emergency 911 operator tried to help. She got hung up onto 4 times. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. 4 hours of phone calls for you to make an incident report. Do we get the point? Meaning that it's not the phone call that is going to get logged as a crime. It is the report wherein the 911 call is logged and then someone is dispatched. So you see how the gap keeps widening. So now the incident has occurred. It's been 4 hours. You've made phone calls. The 911 operator is hanging up the phone on you. That crime hasn't happened until, according to statistics at least, until the call is logged. The report is logged and then someone is dispatched. You can see how the gap keeps widening. So someone stole her Nissan Rouge, stolen outside her mother's home. She called the 311 call center, couldn't get the cops in the alternate response section to take a police report. They refused to take a police report. What does that do to your statistics? These are the ones that got through, is the point. These are the ones that the police finally care to take. But what happens more often than not is that they don't want to take your report. There's pressure from the mayor to bring crime down so that when he's going in for re-election, he can say, look, I brought crime down. That is how these guys are reporting it. Chicago mayor brought crime down. He didn't bring nothing down. We all know he's inept. We all know he's 2 steps away from retarded. We all know it. We've seen it. And then Say Cheese is reporting it like, yeah, he went and he took crime head on and brought the crime down himself. It's not possible. Look at him. He's probably a criminal himself. Oh. Okay. Well, that's a football player. Okay. Anyway, that was close. All right. So, where was I? So, but just getting through to a 3-1 operator in the first place can take a long time. In some months this year, callers have experienced long delays in getting through to the 311 system. February was the worst. People made more than 238,000 calls to the 311 center. The calls took on every 3 minutes and 21 seconds to answer. Someone is breaking down my door. Someone is breaking down the door of your neighbor. Someone is being violently attacked. It's taking an average of 3 minutes and 21 seconds. 20% of the callers gave up even trying. As we said, these are the people who get through. These are the people who actually log the call and the police are dispatched. But we're seeing here that 20% give up. Only 41% were able to get through within the agency's own standard of 41 seconds or less. 238,000 calls, guys. In 1 month, Black History Month. And yes, there is an uptick of violence in Black History Month. Everyone knows this, but nobody wants to talk about it. Whatever. In March, it took almost 3 minutes. So you can see it's less already. I guess the pressure on the phone system. Look, I didn't scroll down. Look at this. January 208, February 238, March 240, April 183. Yeah, exactly. Abandoned call, Black History Month, we abandoned 20% of the phone calls. Exactly. The city would not provide performance figures for the alternate response section, meaning that 911 doesn't work that well. Let's do 311, which is more localized, and they still wouldn't provide the fucking figures. So I need you guys to understand that headlines like these are false on their face, and they try to report them in a way that helps them politically. Oh, this is basically a proposal for Black excellence, and of course we're going to go down my response and some of the responses to what I said, but I'm trying to get you guys to understand the basics. You need to have these basics down.